Acknowledge your bewilderment, deny your doubts, and they will only grow louder. Realize you stand at a crossroads and accept this as part of the journey. To face confusion is not weakness, but the first act of strength. It is to stand naked before the vast, uncharted wilderness of your own existence and admit with courage that you do not have all the answers. Do not shy away from this reckoning. The crossroads is not a place of despair, but of possibility, a sacred battleground where old beliefs crumble and new truths are forged in the fires of your own will. You may feel the pull of clarity, a desperate urge to escape the fog and name the unknown. Resist it. To name is to limit, and the journey that lies ahead is far too infinite for such boundaries. Do not seek an easy path, for the paths that glitter with certainty are the ones most barren of meaning. Instead, linger in this moment of doubt. Let it unravel you, strip you of your comforts, and leave you raw. Only then will you be ready to create. Your doubts are not your enemy. They are the voice of your deeper self, the self that refuses to be satisfied with the hollow and the shallow. They are the guardians of your potential, daring you to reach further, to think sharper, to feel more deeply. To silence them is to silence the very spark that makes you alive. Let them speak, for they will guide you, not with answers, but with questions that pierce the soul and awaken the dormant fire within. Stand at this crossroads as one who knows that no map can chart the way forward. The choice is not between paths, but between who you are and who you might become. Each step, each hesitation, each tremor of doubt is a stitch in the tapestry of your becoming. You are not merely walking a path, you are weaving it with the threads of your choices, the colors of your fears, and the light of your courage. And so, you must accept this moment as it is, a tempest, a trial, a turning point. Do not flee from it, embrace it, let it tear through you and scatter the pieces of your certainty to the wind. Only then, amidst the ruins of what you thought you knew, will you glimpse the outlines of what you might yet build. Here at this crossroads, you are not lost. You are being reborn. Do not ask where the road will lead. Instead, step forward and carve it with the force of your will. Ask your soul, what is your highest purpose? Do not fear the answers that may surprise you. To confront your soul is to stand before the abyss of all that you are and all that you could become. There is no greater act of defiance than to demand an answer from the infinite within you. Your highest purpose is not a goal written in stone, nor a golden thread handed down from the heavens. It is a storm, wild and untamed, waiting to be unleashed by your will. You, the seeker, who dares to gaze inward, must be prepared for what you might find. Your purpose is not bound by logic or reason. It is not a thing to be understood, but to be lived, wrestled with, and embodied. When you ask your soul this question, you are not seeking comfort, but disruption. You are lighting a fire within yourself, one that will burn away the illusions of who you thought you were. Do you feel the unease rising? The trembling beneath your skin? That is the call of your soul, beckoning you toward a horizon you cannot yet see. To discover your highest purpose, you must first dismantle the walls you have built around your desires. Tear down the scaffolding of expectations, the weight of what others have told you to be, and stand exposed to the raw, unfiltered truth of your being. But do not mistake this journey for a single act of revelation. Your purpose is not a destination. It is the path itself, carved with each step you take and each choice you make. It will not come to you in whispers of certainty, but in roars of contradiction, in flashes of inspiration, followed by shadows of doubt. You must embrace them all, for they are the essence of your becoming. Your soul does not answer in words. It speaks in the language of yearning, in the ache that pulls you towards something greater than yourself. That ache is your guide. Follow it, even when it terrifies you, even when it threatens to consume everything you know. For what is your life, if not an offering to something higher, something that transcends the mundane? You are not meant to live quietly. You are not here to merely exist. Your soul demands more. It demands that you rise, that you create, that you break the chains of mediocrity and ascend into the fullness of your potential. This is not a plea, it is a command. Your highest purpose is not a question of if, but of how fiercely you will pursue it. So ask your soul, and when the answers come, wild, chaotic, and untamed, do not flinch, do not retreat. They are not there to comfort you, they are there to set you free. Look fear in the eyes. Fear has a name and a face. Find it, and it will lose its power over you. To confront fear is not to vanquish it, but to strip it bare, to tear away the veils that give it strength. Fear thrives in shadows, in the corners of your mind where you dare not tread. It feeds on your hesitation, growing fat on the stories you tell yourself to avoid its gaze. But you are no creature of shadows. You are the wielder of light, and light demands that you see. Fear is not a faceless phantom. It is a mirror reflecting the parts of yourself you have buried. It wears your regrets, your wounds, your unmet desires, and calls to you from the depths of your soul. To deny it is to deny yourself, but to face it, to meet its gaze with unflinching eyes, is to reclaim the power you have unknowingly surrendered. Do not cower before fear's visage. Step closer. See it for what it is, a mask. Behind it lies not a monster, but a truth you have yet to accept. That truth may terrify you, not because it is your enemy, but because it is your potential, raw and unrefined. Fear is the guardian of transformation, the gatekeeper of the unknown. It does not block your path, it is the path. When you name your fear, you strip it of its mystery. You rob it of the chaos that gives it dominion over you. A named fear is a fear defined, and what is defined can be faced, can be challenged, can be overcome. But to name it, you must first approach it. Do not turn away, even when its presence chills your spirit. That chill is the fire of your becoming, the crucible in which your courage is forged. Fear does not exist to destroy you. It exists to test you, to push you, to force you to rise. It is the weight that strengthens your resolve, the adversary that sharpens your blade. Look into its face not with hatred but with understanding. See it not as a foe, but as a teacher. Fear reveals the boundaries of your current self and dares you to cross them. You will feel its claws, its breath upon your neck, its whispers in your ear. Let them come. Let them pass through you until all that remains is the you that cannot be shaken. At that moment you will realize that fear was never meant to defeat you. It was meant to awaken you to your own power. So stand before it now, unyielding. Call it by its name, meet its gaze, and watch as its hold crumbles, not because it has vanished, but because you have risen above it. Laugh at your anxieties. Laughter shatters the chains forged by a mind too serious for life. What is anxiety, if not the tyrant of a mind trapped in its own labyrinth? It binds you, not with iron, but with the insidious threads of what-ifs and imagined catastrophes. Yet these chains, though they seem unbreakable, are made of nothing but thought, and thought can be undone. The key is laughter, a force both primal and divine, a rebel's cry against the gravity of existence. Laughter is not mere amusement. It is an act of defiance. It takes the weight of the world, the heaviness of your fears, and throws them into the air like dust. It mocks the seriousness of your inner torment, the solemnity with which your anxieties demand to be treated. In laughter, you declare that you are more than your worries, that the vastness of life cannot be contained by the narrow confines of your overthinking. Anxiety thrives in silence, in the hush of a mind that dares not laugh at itself. Break that silence. Let your laughter erupt like a storm, shaking the foundations of the walls you have built around your fear. Do not fear the absurdity of it. Embrace it. Life itself is absurd, a wild and unpredictable dance where every certainty is fleeting. To laugh is to align yourself with the chaos, to ride its waves rather than be drowned by them. When you laugh, you remind yourself that your anxieties are not absolute truths. They are shadows, distortions cast by a mind that takes itself too seriously. Laughter exposes their frailty, their inability to withstand the lightness of being. It turns the monstrous into the ridiculous, the insurmountable into the trivial. But laughter is more than an escape. It is a transformation. It is the alchemy that turns fear into joy, tension into freedom. In laughter, you reclaim your power, not by denying your anxieties, but by disarming them. You become the jester in the court of your own mind, unafraid to poke fun at the king who sits on a throne of worry. And so laugh, not to forget, but to remember. Remember that life is not a test to be passed, a puzzle to be solved, or a battle to be won. It is a fleeting, beautiful chaos, and to live it fully is to embrace its absurdity. Laugh at your anxieties, and you will find they cannot hold you, for laughter is the sound of freedom, the echo of a soul unshackled. Challenge your surroundings. Ask yourself if you are being confined by the expectations of others. You move through the world like a thread in a tapestry, woven into patterns not of your choosing. The colors, the shapes, the very texture of your existence. How much of it is truly yours? How often do you live as if the weight of unseen eyes shapes your every step? These eyes, these expectations, are not your own. They are the silent architects of a prison you did not know you were building. The expectations of others are like invisible walls, closing in with each passing day. They whisper to you of safety, of acceptance, of belonging. But at what cost? They rob you of your sharp edges, your wildness, your uncompromising individuality. To live by their dictates is to slowly erase yourself, until you are but a shadow cast by the desires of others. But you were not born to be a shadow. You were born to blaze, to carve your own path, to shatter the mold and scatter its fragments to the wind. To do this, you must first confront your surroundings, not with complacency, but with defiance. Look at the roles you play, the masks you wear, the rules you follow without question. Do they serve you, or do you serve them? Your surroundings are not neutral. They shape you, mold you, press you into forms that fit their convenience. But you are not clay to be shaped by another's hands. You are fire, and fire cannot be contained. To challenge your surroundings is to ignite that fire, to burn away the falsehoods and reveal the truth of who you are. This is not an act of rebellion for its own sake. It is an act of creation. By rejecting the expectations that confine you, you make room for something greater, your own voice, your own vision, your own life. Do not fear the loneliness that comes with breaking away. It is not loneliness, but freedom, the vast and terrifying freedom of standing alone in your own truth. And when you do, you will find that the walls that once confined you were never real. They were illusions, held together by your willingness to believe in them. Challenge them, tear them down, and watch as the world expands before you. What once seemed impossible will become inevitable, for the only true limits are the ones you refuse to challenge. Do not live as others expect you to live. Live as if you are the architect of your own destiny, for you are. The expectations of others are but whispers in the wind. Your will is the storm that silences them. Find strength in solitude. Solitude is not your enemy, but your mentor. Learn to hear its voice. There is a silence that terrifies, a silence that feels like the abyss itself. It is the silence of solitude, the absence of distraction, the echo of your own thoughts reverberating endlessly within you. But this silence, which so many flee, is not a void. It is a threshold. It is the doorway to a deeper understanding of who you are and who you could become. Solitude strips away the noise of the world, the endless chatter, the ceaseless demands of others. It leaves you exposed, vulnerable, raw. But do not mistake this vulnerability for weakness. It is in solitude that the soul finds its voice, that the self emerges unburdened by the expectations and judgments of the outside world. It is here, in the quiet, that you are forced to confront the truths you have hidden from yourself. To be alone is not to be abandoned. It is to step into the sanctuary of your own being. In solitude, you are not shackled to the opinions of others. You are free to think, to feel, to dream without the weight of external eyes. This freedom can feel like isolation at first, but it is not a prison. It is an emancipation. Solitude is a teacher, one who speaks not in words but in silence. Its lessons are harsh but necessary. It reveals the cracks in your foundation, the fears you have buried, the dreams you have neglected. It forces you to stand on your own, to find strength not in the approval of others, but in the unshakable certainty of your own existence. Do not run from it. Embrace it. In solitude, you will discover that you are not empty. You are infinite. The quiet is not a void to be filled, but a canvas on which to paint the masterpiece of your life. It is in these moments of stillness that the greatest revelations occur, that the seeds of transformation are sown. To be alone is to stand face to face with your own soul. And in that meeting, you will find not an enemy, but a guide. Solitude does not seek to destroy you. It seeks to awaken you. It whispers of your potential, of the strength you have always possessed but never acknowledged. Listen to it. Let it shape you, sharpen you, prepare you for the world that awaits. For it is only through solitude that you can truly know yourself. And to know yourself is to wield a power greater than any external force, a power that no one can take from you. Solitude is not the absence of connection. It is the foundation of all meaningful connection. Stand strong in it, and you will emerge not diminished, but whole. Embrace your shadow. Without acknowledging your weaknesses, you cannot see your strengths. There is a part of you that you keep hidden, a part that you refuse to look at, as if by ignoring it, it will cease to exist. But this shadow, this darkness within you, is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your mirror, the very force that holds the key to your transformation. To deny it is to deny a fundamental truth about yourself, and without truth, you are nothing but a fragment of what you could be. Your shadow is not merely your flaws or weaknesses. It is the sum of everything you refuse to acknowledge. The fears, the desires, the regrets, the failures that lurk beneath the surface. It is the untamed part of your being, the raw, unrefined energy that you keep locked away. But it will not remain hidden forever. It seeks to be seen, to be understood, to be integrated into the whole of who you are. To truly know yourself is to embrace this shadow, not as something to be ashamed of, but as something to be mastered. Only by facing the parts of yourself that you fear can you unlock the strength that lies dormant within you. For your weaknesses are not weaknesses at all. They are the very soil from which your greatest power can grow. The strength you seek cannot be found in perfection. Perfection is a lie. It is the acceptance of your imperfections, your contradictions, your flaws, that reveals the true magnitude of your potential. The shadow is not the absence of light, but the presence of all that you have yet to fully understand about yourself. And when you acknowledge it, you will discover that it is not a weight to carry, but a fire to fuel your journey. This is not a path for the faint of heart. To embrace your shadow is to face the parts of yourself that you have long ignored or feared. It is to confront the darkness within you and to see it not as an enemy, but as a force of nature, raw and untamed. It is only by embracing this shadow that you can become whole, that you can align the parts of yourself that were once at war with one another. Do not turn away from your darkness. Do not push it down, for in doing so, you deny yourself the power to transform. Your strengths are not built in the light, but in the dark. They rise from the depths of your struggles, from the very parts of you that you have hidden from the world. And when you finally accept your shadow, you will see that it is not the absence of light, but the presence of everything you could be. This is the paradox of existence. The darker the shadow, the brighter the light it reveals. Only by embracing both can you become the fullest version of yourself. Forgive yourself for yesterday. Wisdom begins with the refusal to be a slave to the past. The weight of yesterday hangs heavy on your shoulders, a chain forged from regret, shame, and the haunting echoes of decisions made in fleeting moments. You carry it with you, as if by holding on to it, you can somehow rewrite what has already been lived. But this is a lie that keeps you bound to a past that no longer exists, to shadows that no longer have power over you unless you give them that power. To forgive yourself is not to absolve yourself of guilt. It is to release the past, to sever the ties that bind you to actions you cannot change. It is the act of standing in the present moment, untouched by the mistakes of yesterday, untainted by the ghosts of what could have been. Wisdom is not the accumulation of knowledge. It is the ability to break free from the past, to move forward with a heart unburdened, a mind unclouded by the ghosts of former selves. The past is a thief. It steals your energy, your potential, your freedom. To live in it is to remain imprisoned in a cell of your own making. What is done. The decisions you made, the paths you took, are etched into the fabric of time. But they are not the sum of who you are. They are fragments of a life that has already passed, and they have no dominion over the person you are becoming. The refusal to forgive yourself is the refusal to accept the present as it is. It is to live in a constant state of atonement for things that cannot be undone. But this is not wisdom. It is self-imposed suffering. To break free, you must let go of the past, not as a way of forgetting, but as a way of embracing the power that comes from living fully in the now. Forgiveness is not a simple act of pardon. It is a radical liberation. It is the moment when you reclaim your life from the shackles of what has already been. It is the recognition that you are not defined by your past actions, but by the choices you make from this moment onward. So, forgive yourself, not because you have done nothing wrong, but because you refuse to allow yesterday to dictate the course of your life today. This is the path of the wise. It is the path of the free. The past will always be with you, but it need not be your master. Only by forgiving yourself can you step into the fullness of your power, unburdened by the weight of what cannot be changed. In this, you find true freedom, the freedom to live fully, to move forward, to embrace the endless possibilities that lie before you, unencumbered by the chains of yesterday. Listen to the voice of reason, but follow the heart. Reason points the way, but it is the heart that gives the courage to walk it. The mind is a master of navigation. It draws maps, lays out plans, and calculates the safest paths forward. It analyzes, it judges, it organizes the world into neat, understandable patterns. But in the end, it is not the mind that moves you. It is the heart. The heart is the force that propels you beyond the boundaries of logic, that dares you to walk a path that reason cannot predict. The heart is where true courage resides, where the will to act arises, not from the certainty of outcome, but from the belief in something greater than what can be known. Reason is the architect, but the heart is the builder. It provides the foundation upon which all great things are realized. Without the heart, reason is but a compass that cannot find its true north. The heart is the fire that ignites the fuel of your intellect, the spark that turns calculation into action, hesitation into boldness. Reason may tell you what is possible, but it is the heart that makes the impossible worth chasing. There is no greatness without risk, and there is no risk without the heart's leap into the unknown. The mind can offer you wisdom, But wisdom without courage is like a sword without a hand to wield it. It is the heart, untamed and fearless, that gives the mind the strength to push forward, even when the path is uncertain, even when the world mocks your ambition. The heart is the force that whispers to you in the dark, urging you to move when every rational thought tells you to stand still. Do not forsake the voice of reason. Its guidance is invaluable, but never mistake it for the whole of the journey. Reason may show you the way, but it is your heart that will give you the courage to walk it, even when the road is fraught with doubt, when the end is unclear, and when the world demands that you follow a safer, simpler path. True greatness is not born from calculated decisions alone. It is born when reason and heart unite in a dance of destiny. The mind provides the map, but it is the heart that dares to step forward into the wilderness. Do not fear the path that reason cannot foresee, for it is on that path that you will discover the true power of your will, the true depth of your potential. So listen to the voice of reason, but follow the call of your heart. Let your intellect guide you, but let your courage lead you. For it is in the act of following the heart's call, against all odds, that you will find your truest self. And in that journey, you will unlock not only the wisdom to navigate the world, but the audacity to change it. Take the first step, even if it is small. The road to greatness begins with movement. The journey toward greatness does not begin with a grand gesture, nor does it require a thunderous declaration. It begins in silence, in the quiet determination of the first step. A step so small, so seemingly insignificant that the world around you may not even notice. But it is in this first movement, this subtle defiance of inertia, that the entire trajectory of your life shifts. You stand at the edge of something vast, something unknown. The road ahead stretches infinitely, filled with uncertainty, with obstacles that seem insurmountable. Your mind, overwhelmed by the enormity of the task, whispers that you are not ready, that you are not enough. But this is the lie that keeps you imprisoned within the walls of your own potential. The road to greatness is not forged in moments of perfection, but in the courage to move, despite the uncertainty, despite the fear. The first step is not the end, but the beginning. It is the declaration that you are no longer content to stand still, to remain where you are. It is the birth of motion, the rejection of stagnation. And in that simple action, the universe begins to shift. For once you take that step, you are no longer the person who hesitated in the shadows of doubt. You are the person who has chosen to move, to act, to become. Greatness is not a destination. It is a process. It is the accumulation of countless small movements, each one building upon the last, until they form a path that leads to what was once thought impossible. But none of these movements can occur until you make the decision to step forward, no matter how small that step may seem. The road you seek may not open up all at once, and the obstacles may seem insurmountable. But every journey, no matter how daunting, begins with the first step. Without it, you remain trapped in the potential that will never be realized. With it, you unlock the door to everything you could become. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for the stars to align. The first step is not about certainty, it is about courage. It is about embracing the unknown, trusting in the process, and knowing that with each step you move closer to the greatness that is already within you, waiting to be realized. Take the step. It may be small, but it will set in motion a force that will carry you further than you ever imagined. And once you begin, you will find that the road to greatness is not nearly as far away as you once believed. Let your choice serve you. Do not choose out of fear or obligation. Choose from the thirst for life. How often do you make choices that bind you to the past, that force you into patterns not of your own making, but of necessity or fear? You stand at a crossroads, and instead of choosing the path that calls to you, you choose the one that feels safer, that feels more familiar, that feels like the only option available. But is this truly living? Is this the way to bring forth the greatness that lies dormant within you? Or is it merely the survival of what has already been, a repetition of the past, dressed up as progress? To choose out of fear is to remain shackled to the very forces that seek to suppress your potential. Fear keeps you small, keeps you confined within the boundaries drawn by others. It is the voice that tells you to play it safe, to stay within the lines, to follow the path of least resistance. But this path is not where life is found. Life is not the avoidance of danger. It is the embrace of risk, the willingness to venture into the unknown, to choose that which excites the soul rather than that which appeases the mind. To choose out of obligation is to live in the shadow of someone else's will. It is to submit to the weight of external expectations, to live a life defined not by your own desires, but by the demands of others. But what is the point of a life lived for someone else, a life that serves only the desires and needs of others, while your own remain unfulfilled? This is not the life of greatness, but the life of quiet resignation, a life that fades into the background without ever truly shining. The true choice is that which comes from the deepest well of your being, from your thirst for life, from your hunger for experience, from the yearning to create and to explore, to become something greater than what you are today. To choose from the thirst for life is to choose the path of self-empowerment, the path that is not dictated by fear or obligation, but by the fierce desire to live fully, to embrace each moment as an opportunity for growth and transformation. This is the choice that leads to greatness, to fulfillment, to the life you were always meant to live. It is the choice to step into your own power, to reject the limits imposed by others, and to pursue the wild, untamed possibility that lies before you. To choose from a thirst for life is to choose freedom, to choose the unknown, to choose the adventure that is waiting for you just beyond the horizon. Let your choices serve you, not as chains to your past or obligations to others, but as declarations of your own will, your own desires, your own purpose. Let every decision be an affirmation of your commitment to living fully, to experiencing life not as a series of obligations, but as a grand adventure, an unfolding of possibility where you are the creator, the author of your own story. In choosing from a thirst for life, you choose to live with passion, with purpose, with an intensity that cannot be extinguished by the mundane or the expected. You choose the life that is truly yours, and in doing so, you become the force that shapes your own destiny. Create your own truth. The crossroads is but an illusion. You alone build the road you walk. How often do you stand at a crossroads believing that the choices before you are the defining moments of your life? You look left, you look right, each path seemingly offering a different fate, a different version of yourself. But in truth, the crossroads is nothing but a lie, a mirage born from the belief that the direction you take is what defines you. The road is not laid out in front of you. It is not given to you by some divine hand or fate. No, the road you walk is the one you build, step by step, with every decision, every action, every thought. The illusion of the crossroads is a trap. It tells you that there is a single, correct path to follow, one that will lead you to success, to happiness, to fulfillment. But it is a path already paved by others, a path dictated by societal norms, cultural expectations, the desires of the many. The truth is that there is no universal road, no prescribed route to greatness. You are not defined by the path you take. You are defined by the way you choose to carve it, the way you choose to navigate the vast unknown. Every moment is a chance to create your own truth, to step away from the illusion that the world has already decided where you must go. You have the power to forge your own way, to build a road that is uniquely yours, that reflects your deepest desires, your true self, your essence. You are not bound by the decisions of others, nor are you bound by the expectations that seek to shape your life. The power of creation lies within you, waiting to be harnessed. Do not fall prey to the idea that you are standing at a crossroads, that you must choose one path over another. Instead, recognize that you are already on a journey, and that the road is not something you must follow, but something you must create. There are no limits to the roads you can build, no end to the possibilities that lie before you. Every choice you make shapes the landscape of your existence. Every action you take lays down a new stone, a new direction. The truth is not something you find. It is something you create. It is not a preordained destination or a path dictated by the past. It is the result of your will, your desires, your courage to stand apart from the crowd and build something new. The crossroads is nothing more than an illusion designed to keep you confined within the limits of what others have already created. But the road you walk is yours to shape, yours to define, and yours to make your own. So, reject the illusion. Do not stand at the crossroads, waiting for someone else to tell you where to go. Create your own truth. Step forward with the knowledge that the path you take is not the one that has already been set before you, but the one you decide to forge, the one you have the power to create. The road is not out there waiting for you. It is within you, waiting to be built. And with every step you take, you will see that the true freedom lies not in choosing a path, but in creating your own.